Hello everyone and welcome to the first video detailing chapter 1 of project XYplorer for Linux. We're starting off with a clean Ubuntu install, either on a virtual machine or on a native machine. The first thing we have to do pretty much is get Wine up and running. So once again, this is what you're looking at is a completely clean install of Ubuntu 13.10. So if you're following along on your own device, the steps should be exactly the same, the dependencies should be exactly the same. First things first, if we try to run Wine on the clean install, it'll give us command not found because it's simply not installed. Now, first things we have to do is we have to update the apt-get package case. So we go apt-get updates, and that's going to query the repository servers for us. That takes, well, about 20 to 30 seconds, I'd say. So once that is done, we have a nice and clear update of our package case. So now we can go and find excuse me, that's not cage. Search Wine. So got Wine 1.4 here. The Ubuntu repository is actually a little bit behind because the actual stable release at the moment is 1.6 and the development release is 1.7.14, which we can't access through the normal repositories. So we'll have to add a PPA, Personal Package Archive, and thankfully this PPA is maintained by the developers of Wine themselves, so it's all good basically. So very simple, we go sudo apt add repository, and then we give the address of the PPA, which is bpa :ubuntu -wine/PPA. So it's going to query the server, and that's our welcome message there. So it shows you the latest available Wine betas, which is fine. Let's go enter. So that's added to our system now. What we have to do now is update the package case. So go sudo apt-get updates, and this time our package case is going to have the Wine developers PPA added as well, which means that if we now are to query the cage, search for Wine, there we have it, Wine 1.7. That's the one we want. So we're going to install Wine 1.7, sudo apt-get install Wine 1.7. And that takes a little while. So while this downloads, I'm gonna quickly pause the video. I'll be right back with you as soon as this is finished. So we're back for a slight interruption here. This is a screen that will pop up during the Wine installation process, and it basically is the install for the Windows core fonts, which do have an end user license agreement attached to them. So the installer will actually ask you to accept the end user agreement before continuing. It's fairly easy. We just have to go tab, hit OK, and then say that we do accept the end user license agreement. If you don't, Wine won't be able to access many of the Windows fonts that Windows comes with. And without those fonts, a lot of programs are going to look very, very strange, because Wine will be forced to use the Linux fonts, which sometimes do work very well with Wine, but oftentimes throw very, very strange exceptions, or will make your program look absolutely dreadful. So once again, we'll be back once the Wine installation is completed. So, now that we have the Wine installation fully installed on our system, we can just verify that everything went alright by going, where is Wine? There it is. So we've found wine, we've installed it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to initialize the wine environment. Now, in the topic on the forums, there's a lengthy bit in there that explains how to set wine prefixes, which is essentially giving you the ability to use multiple wine folders. Now think of a wine folder as your own miniature Windows virtual machine inside of Linux. It's not actually a virtual machine, so please don't confuse the two. But it kind of acts like it. So all the activity of wine will be confiscated to that one folder. So it's really easy to switch wine folders. You can isolate programs from each other by using different wine folders, which are technically called wine prefixes. So let's go to our home directory. Let's make a list here. See. So that's what the home directory looks like. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to call wine config. Now, wine config, if you launch it like this without any parameters attached to it, it will initialize the wine environment in your home directory under the folder name .wine. Now, because I'm running a virtual machine, this is actually really slow on my computer, so I'm gonna pause the video here and get back to you once this whole initialization thing is done. Nothing really happens. You'll have the screen stay up anywhere between a few seconds and, in my case, unfortunately, a couple of minutes. So once again, guys, I do apologize. I'm running this on a virtual machine. I'll be right back. And so we're back. Our wine configuration has been completed, and the following window will pop up. Wine configuration. You're able to configure your wine pseudo virtual machine in this dialog, but we're not gonna touch any of this until later. So you can happily click this away, and that'll bring you back into the command prompt. So one last thing that we have to do before we can install XYplorer is install the VB6 runtime. Wine needs VB6 virtualization capabilities to run XYplorer. It's fairly easy, actually. What we'll use is Winetricks, which is a facility helper program to Wine, and that allows you to bypass certain restrictions in Wine that you would have if you wouldn't use it, basically. Think of it as a kind of a dependency solver for Wine. It's a fairly easy command, Winetricks VB6 run. Now, this will do something odd. Basically, it'll launch your web browser, because it needs to get a Microsoft executable, which it can't download, so you'll have to do it for him. Basically, here it says, please download the VB6 file. It will pop up your web browser, and I'll tell you exactly which file you need. So you need the Service Pack 6 for Visual Basic. Click download now, and try not to get suckered in any of the spam. Oh my god. I'll be right back, guys. So after a little bit of wrestling with the website, I managed to get the VB6 executable downloaded. Winetricks will actually open up the folder that you need in the GNOME file manager. So you basically just have to drag your VB6 executable into the Winetricks folder. If it doesn't do this, for whatever reason, the path is inside your home folder.kh Winetricks VB6 run. So with that all said and done, you can close all these, and then the only thing we have to do is run the command Winetricks VB6 for a second time, and that'll install the VB6 runtime into our wine. You'll have to accept the licensing agreement, and that's done. You're basically done. Your wine environment is set up. and we can actually install XYplorer now. So I've taken the liberty of downloading the latest XY or XYplorer, whatever you like, executable installer on my computer, which is the 1.3.80 install at the moment. And this is a nice demonstration of one of the neat little features of Wine, is that it runs exactly like your Windows workflow. So all you need to do is you need to cd into your downloads folder and then find, of course, the folder where you actually saved the install file. And this is the fun part. All you need to do is type the Wine command followed by the XYplorer installer, or indeed any other installer that you want to install. That's it. That's it. That's everything you need to do. Now press execute command, and look at that. It looks just like Windows. It looks exactly the same. Font size a little bit different, perhaps, but it'll act and behave in exactly the same manner as your install program would on Windows. So you can happily click through this next, I agree, install for anyone. Now keep in mind, Wine is kind of simulating a Windows system, so XYplorer thinks it's installing in the C drive letter. Now, as you probably know, in Unix there's no such thing as a drive letter. So basically it's installing everything in the Wine folder, which is sitting in the location where you put it. But as far as Windows is, or the Windows program is concerned, it's installing it in this path. So you can happily click continue, install, and there it goes. And then if you click finish here, it'll start XYplorer, and there you have it, a free trial version. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's XYplorer running under Wine on Unix. Don't worry about any of these errors or any of this stuff. We'll walk through that in the next video, but as you can see, it takes about 12 minutes to get XYplorer up and running on a completely clean Ubuntu install. Once we tweak the installation and we adjust certain parameters in the program, you'll find that, at least in my opinion, this is way better than any Unix file manager I've ever used, at least the ones with a GUI, a graphical user interface. It allows you to kind of keep your workflows equal between your Windows machine and your Unix box. So there you have it, guys. I hope this tutorial was informative and you now have a pretty good idea of how to get things up and running. I would say check out the forum post as well, because I'll probably update that post when more information comes available. In the next video we'll try and have a look at getting your bearings around the XYplorer install. We'll look at how to deal with certain restrictions and how to access the native system, because that's definitely what we want. As you can see out of the box, we can actually open the native file system no problem at all. So it's not as difficult as it sounds, but I'm gonna end the video here now, because otherwise I'll get sucked into explaining more and more. Regardless, beautiful program, works fine on Linux, barring a few exceptions. Do stay tuned, next video coming up shortly.